Welcome back. This is Mrs. Rubright with Algebra 1 Honors. Today's lesson is 8-7, solving quadratic equations by using square roots. All right, so does 0 have a square root? Why or why not? What is the square root of 0? What times itself is 0? 0, right? Zero times 0 is 0, right? Does a negative number have any square roots? Why or why not? No, because there's no real numbers that, because a negative times a negative is positive, and a positive times a positive is positive, right? A negative times a negative is a positive, and a positive times a positive is a positive. So there are no real answers. No real solutions, right? It's not going to have any real solutions. Explain how you would simplify the square root of 5/4. So 5/4. The square root of 5/4 equals the square root of 5 over the square root of 4, which is the square root of 5 over 2. And it's always plus or minus when you take the square root, right? All right, so we're going to add 7 to both sides, and we get 2x squared equals 16. We're going to divide by 2 on both sides. And 16 divided by 2 is 8. Square root both sides, positive, negative, square root of 8. Well, what is the square root of 8? 4 times 2, right? The perfect square that goes into 8. 3 squared is 9. 9 is too big. 2 squared is 4. 4 does go into 8. So it's the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. The square root of 4 is 2. So it's 2 rad 2. Positive, negative, 2 rad 2. Subtract 19 from both sides, leaving me with, what is 7 minus 19? Negative 12. Divide by negative 3 on both sides, leaving with positive 4. Square root both sides. So I'm going to get positive and negative 2. We get the positive, negative square root, positive, negative 2. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides, and I get 8. And I'm going to add 6 to both sides, and I get 4. So my solutions are 4 and 8. How can you check the solutions of the quadratic equation? Plug them back in. So let's see. Negative 3 times 4 minus 6 squared plus 19 equals 7. Negative 3 times 8 minus 6 squared plus 19 equals 7. Let's double check. That'd be negative 2 squared. 4 times negative 3 plus 19. Negative 12 plus 19. 7 equals 7. Sure does. And then over here, 2 squared is 4. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12 plus 19. 7 equals 7? Yes. So here we got 2 squared, which is 4, and this would be negative 2 squared is 4. So the reason we do plus or minus on the square roots is because negative 2 times negative 2 is 4, and positive 2 times positive 2 is 4. So there was 2 different possible solutions. So our answers are 4 and 8. All right. So On this next one, write the equation to be solved. So we are going to read this. A person standing on the second floor balcony drops a key to a friend standing below the balcony. The keys are dropped from a height of 10 feet. The height and feet of the keys as they fall is given by the equation h of t equals negative 16t squared plus 10, where t is the time in seconds since the keys were dropped. The friend catches the keys at a height of 4. Write and solve an equation to find the elapsed time before the keys are caught. So they're being caught at a height of 4. Okay, we're going to subtract 10 from both sides. And that leaves us with negative 16t squared equals negative 6. Divide by negative 16 on both sides. 6 divided by 16 is 3 over 8. Square root both sides. Positive, negative, square root of 3 over 8. Okay. So 3 divided by 8 equals 0.375 square root. This is going to be positive, negative 0.612372. Are we allowed to have a negative time? So our answer is approximately 0.6 seconds. Okay, what if I wanted to keep this as an exact answer? So positive, negative, square root of 3 over square root of 8. Square root of 8 is 4 times 2, or 2 rad 2. Multiply by rad 2 over rad 2 to rationalize, because you can't have a square root in the denominator. And you'd have rad 6 over 2 times 2, or rad 6 over 4. Okay? And that's rationalized. Let's double check that. 6 square root divided by 4 equals, and you get that same answer of 0.6. Okay? Although the equation that you solved has 2 solutions, one of them is rejected. Why? Because you can't have negative time. The exact positive solution of the equation is t equals square root of 6 over 4. Explain how to obtain this result and show that it gives the same approximate solution. Oh, they're doing what I just did. You rationalize. Suppose your friend decides not to catch the keys and let them fall to the ground instead. What equation must you solve? All right, so if they wanted to fall to the ground, then instead of doing it equal to 4, you have to set it equal to 0. And what is that elapsed time? Positive, negative, rad 10 over 4. Or you could do the 5/8. 5 divided by 8 equals square root, approximately 0.8 seconds. All right, if you did 5/8 square root, you get 0.8. If you needed it exact, then you have square root of 5 over square root of 8. Square root of 8 is 4 times 2, or 2 rad 2. Rationalize, multiply by rad 2 over rad 2, because you cannot have a radical in the denominator. So let's do a few practice problems. Write the square roots of 64 in simplified form. So the square root of 64, what times itself is 64? 8 and negative 8. Write the square roots of 32 in simplified form. The square root of 32 is what? So the square root of 32 is 16 times 2, or 4 rad 2. So negative 4 rad 2 and positive 4 rad 2. Write the square roots of 8/9 in simplified form. Square root of 8 over square root of 9. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 8 is 4 times 2, or 2 rad 2. So 2 rad 2 over 3, negative, and 2 rad 2 over 3, positive. Are you guys understanding that? Explain why square roots of square root of 37 cannot be simplified. All right, so the square root of 37, so 6 times 6 is 36. That's not big enough. 7 times 7 is 49, too big. 36 does not go in evenly to 37. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 does not evenly go into 37. 4 times 4 is 16. Does not evenly go in. 3 times 3 is 9. Does not evenly go in. 2 times 2 is 4. Does not evenly go in. Those are all our perfect squares that are around that, and none of them work, so it cannot be simplified. No perfect squares go in evenly to 37. All right? Has no factors that are perfect squares. Solve each quadratic equation. Simplify the solutions when possible. So square root, the square root of 18. Do any perfect squares go into 18? Name me a perfect square that goes into 18. Five times 5 is 25. No. 4 times 4 is 16. No. 3 times 3 is 9. Yes. 9 times 2. 3 rad 2. Positive, negative, 3 rad 2. Minus 4, x squared equals 6, square root, positive, negative, square root of 6. Try numbers 6 and 8. Oh, that's a positive. Oops. Divide by negative 4 on both sides. Negative divided by negative is positive. So then you're going to have the positive negative square root of 5. Divide by 2 on both sides. X squared equals 100. Square root. Positive negative square root of 100. Positive negative 10. Try 9 and 10. You guys able to get 10 and 0 for 9? And then for 10, 3 and negative 5? Don't forget, when you take the square root on both sides, you need to do the positive negative square root. For number 11, 14 and 0. 14 and 0. First thing you do is you'd have to get the square part isolated, so you have to divide by 2 on both sides. And when you take the square root, it's a positive negative square root. positive negative square root of 49 is positive negative 7. So x minus 7 equals 7, x minus 7 equals negative 7. Solve both of them, you get 14 and 0. Try number 12. One and negative 7. Let's try one more. Let's try number 14. One plus or minus square root of 6. So 1 plus square root of 6, 1 minus square root of 6. Right? 1 plus or minus square root of 6. 1 plus square root of 6, 1 minus square root of 6. So this is your lesson on 8.7. So your homework tonight is page 457 and page 458. Please like and subscribe and have a fantastic day.